I am Clara Jennings, 32 years old, and living in the quaint town of Denton Springs. My life revolves around my work at a small yet formidable marketing agency where creativity flows beneath a fun exterior. The team thrives on collaboration, bouncing ideas off each other, but there is this one colleague, let us call her X, who has made this beautiful journey anything but pleasant. From the first day I stepped into that office, I could feel a coldness emanating from her. It was not just me. Whenever I mentioned her to the others in the office, I was met with nods and shared glances that spoke volumes. They felt it too. X had an uncanny knack for casting a shadow over even the sunniest discussions, and her straight face was ever present, like a storm cloud refusing to drift away. Her bad attitude was the thorn that constantly pricked at my side. You might think that in a workplace, rivals would be functional at least, but with her, that seemed impossible. Whenever I approached her for assistance, which, let's be honest, I rarely did because of her demeanor, she made it exceptionally clear she was not in the mood. It hurt to know that I was constantly walking on eggshells around her. My frustrations only grew. Then came that fateful meeting. It was a pivotal moment for our upcoming project, and I really needed her help. I believed this could be the moment where our history could redirect itself toward a more positive path. However, instead of support, X responded with nothing but indifference. When I tried to lay out my thoughts, she interrupted me, her tone dripping with condescension, saying, "If you're not comfortable with the arrangement, we can put someone else in charge." She was not even my boss, just tasked with handling logistics. I was furious. How dare she undermine my leadership and question my competence? This was not just a clash. It felt like she was challenging my very worth in this place. Feeling cornered and enraged, I made my choice. I decided to take action. I marched straight to my boss's office, armed with a powerful cocktail of anger and a sense of righteousness. I explained to him what had transpired during the meeting and recounted the series of interactions that had occurred between X and me over time. I spoke of her consistent disregard for team spirit and how her negativity seemed to suffocate the motivation of our whole department. It felt cathartic to finally voice all my frustrations, laying her bad attitude and unprofessional demeanor bare for my boss to see. I thought perhaps this would result in some gentle warnings for X, a nudge to change her ways, but my words had much heavier consequences than I ever anticipated. A week later, she was called into the office. Word crept back to me that she had been fired. I felt a chill creep down my spine as the realization settled over me. I never intended for it to go that far. As I sat at my desk, staring blankly at my computer screen, the victory that I should have felt was instead replaced by a sense of unease. I had resolved my issue, yet I was left hollowed out by the knowledge that I had unknowingly contributed to someone's job loss. The thrill of my small revenge faded quickly, turning sour in my gut. What did I really gain? Ignoring those questions, I tried to push through my work. I noticed a change in the atmosphere of the office, though. My coworkers, while relieved that X was out of the picture, were now hesitant to approach me. It was as if no one wanted to be the next target of my righteousness. I felt alone. Days turned into weeks as I dealt with the consequences of my actions. I faced a barrage of mixed reactions. Some praised me for standing up for myself, while others whispered warnings about me being unforgiving. As I navigated these murky waters, doubt crept in. Had I become like X, ruthless in my quest for respect, willing to trample on another's dignity? One evening, I found myself sitting alone in my living room, staring at the wall, the weight of my triumph heavy upon my chest. I knew I had to find some kind of closure. My heart yearned for resolution, and yet it only seemed to deepen my dissatisfaction. Then, a month after her departure, a shocking twist landed in my lap. I received an invitation to a local networking event that promised to draw several influential names from the industry. I hesitated going, unsure if it would stir up more upheaval amidst my already fluctuating emotions. Ultimately, my curiosity got the best of me. Standing in that beautifully lit venue, sipping a glass of something sweet, I was approached by a group wearing smiles and friendly faces, but my heart sank when I recognized one of them. It was X, standing with her friends, not an unemployed disappointment, but vibrant, alive, and with an aura of confidence that put me on edge. Stunned, I tried to make myself small and avoid eye contact, but she spotted me. A flicker of recognition passed between us. Soon, there was no escaping her approach. "Clara," she smiled, though it felt like daggers hidden amongst the facade of friendliness. It seems like we never got the chance to get to know each other properly. I was gripped by an urge to turn and walk away instead of engaging in this conversation, but maturity forced me to stand my ground. Perhaps we should have X, I replied, my voice steady despite the chaos in my mind. To my surprise, she chuckled softly. You know, I believe you did what you thought was right, and for that, you gain respect. I respect that you were brave enough to speak up. Her admission doused the fire of anger I harbored and replaced it with a strange sense of kinship. We discussed our past misunderstandings, and gradually, the tension dissolved into laughter as we shared stories about our work and visions for the future. What began as an act of revenge morphed into an unexpected friendship. A few weeks later, I learned that X had not only found another position, but had also been promoted rapidly, an underdog story that sparked people's admiration. Instead of feeling envy, I was glad for her. I had finally allowed the dark cloud of my past grievances to clear, and with it came clarity. I realized that revenge, rather than my original intention, had led me to a lesson about understanding, forgiveness, and the strength that arises from vulnerability. My true victory was finding a way to rise above bitterness, transforming adversaries into allies, making the workplace lighter. In the end, life in Denton Springs continued with its regular rhythm, but I had changed. No longer was I defined by anger or revenge. Instead, I found solace in the friendships I built and the understanding I shared with others. X became someone I could turn to for advice, someone I genuinely connected with. I had sought to bring down a rival, only to discover a partner among the unexpected, demonstrating that sometimes, in the battle for self-worth, we find the most profound growth within ourselves.